Bobby Orr. He
Before
jumped.
Michael Jordan had basketball, before Pele revolutionized soccer, hockey had Bobby Orr. But his story might not be what you think. Picture
Pele?
this. A 14-year-old kid from a small Canadian town.
Hold on. Look, I did Guy Lafleur. You know, we did Gretzky. I did the hardest hits. Hey, after that hardest hits video, I got so much respect for y'all hockey players. Oh my God. We learning. I learned about David when they say he's the best player in the hockey league right now. But hey, Bobby Orr. Let's learn a little bit something about Bobby Orr. I'm new to this, you feel me? But look, the forgotten skill that made Bobby Orr unstoppable. Even greater than Gretzky. Even Gretzky couldn't do this. So, hey, we about to go and get into the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all already know what's going on. But they said Pele. I heard Pele's name before, but I never knew who that was. I heard that name.
Before Pele revolutionized soccer, hockey had Bobby Orr. But his story might not be what you think.
Bobby Orr.
Picture this. A 14-year-old kid from a small Canadian town who would become the only player in NHL history to win all 4 major awards in a single season. But here's the shocking part. His legendary career ended at just 30 years old. And folks, if you're loving these untold stories of hockey legends, smash that like button.
And I don't be trying to pause these videos, but bro, why do all the hockey legends end their career faster or young? Bro, Guy Lafleur, now Bobby Orr, at 30, he retired, bro. What is going on? But he won 4 awards in one season.
We're pushing hard for 1,000 subscribers.
Did
And with
Gretzky
your
ever
help,
do?
we can unlock even more hockey forever. Born in Parry Sound, Ontario,
Did
Orr
Gretzky ever
wasn't
do
your
that?
typical hockey prodigy. While most future stars dominated from day one, he was the underdog, severely undersized and overlooked. But what he lacked in size, he made up for with supernatural skating ability that caught the eye of the Boston Bruins. They were so convinced of his potential that they seeking hard for 1,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can unlock even more incredible NHL stories. Now, let's dive into how a small-town kid changed hockey forever. Born in Parry
Bobby
Sound,
Orr.
Ontario, Orr wasn't your typical
them
hockey
Canadians,
prodigy.
boy.
While most future stars dominated from day one, he was the underdog, severely undersized and overlooked.
Damn, the
but what he
underdog
lacked
story.
in size, he made up for with supernatural skating ability that caught the eye of the Boston Bruins. They were so convinced of his potential that they secretly funded an entire team, the Oshawa Generals, just to develop him. By 17, Orr wasn't just
Hold on, what they mean to develop a... Hold on. Whoa. What do they mean?
Bruins. They were so convinced of his potential that they secretly funded an entire team, the Oshawa Generals, just to develop him. By 17, Orr wasn't just playing hockey. He was rewriting its rules. In an era when players gratefully accepted whatever teams offered, he became the first to demand his worth. Standing 6 feet tall and weighing close to 200 pounds, he transformed from that undersized kid into a physical specimen. But it wasn't just his playing that changed the game forever. He revolutionized the business of hockey, partnering with lawyer Alan Eagleson to challenge the entire system. But if you think that's impressive, wait until you see what he did next. In 1966, the NHL witnessed something unprecedented. The Boston Bruins didn't just sign 18-year-old Bobby Orr, they made him the highest paid player in NHL history.
At 18?
But what made a struggling team bet everything on a
18?
teenager? The preseason games answered that question. The Bruins, seeing his offensive brilliance, initially experimented with Orr at center. But what happened next shocked everyone. His defensive skills proved even more extraordinary. Picture a player who could not only score at will, but also clear the crease like a veteran enforcer and block shots with supernatural precision. The Bruins had struck gold, but his rookie season, that's where things get interesting. Imagine shattering every defensive scoring record in NHL history, winning the Calder Trophy as top rookie, and making the All-Star team, only to watch your team finish with one of their worst records ever.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, bro. At 18, you being the highest paid player, bro, you gotta be a god. Is he on Gretzky level? Let me know in the comments. Is he on Gretzky level? He was, okay, now I'm understanding he was a defender at first. He a defender, boom, boom, boom. He got the, I guess, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year award his rookie year. Okay, boom.
17 wins,
Number
43
4
losses,
is my favorite number, by the
and
way,
10
too.
ties.
So I could probably need
Yet beneath this
that
roller
jersey.
coaster of triumph and frustration lurked something more ominous. 9 games missed due to a knee injury, seemingly minor at the time. but this would become the dark shadow that followed Orr's brilliant career.
Ooh.
This wasn't just any
Oh
injury.
my
It was the
God.
beginning of a tragic flaw in an otherwise perfect hockey
Hold on,
story.
how he hurt his leg again? Oh my God, it looked like it hurt.
Lurked something more ominous. 9 games missed due to a knee injury, seemingly minor at the time, but this would become the dark shadow that followed Orr's brilliant career. This wasn't just any injury. It was the beginning of a tragic flaw in an otherwise perfect hockey story. The question wasn't whether Bobby Orr would change hockey forever. It was whether his body would let him finish what he started. The 1967-68 season started with a cruel twist. Knee injuries limited the NHL's highest paid player to just 46 games. But what happened next would change Boston hockey forever. While Orr battled his demons in the training room, the Bruins executed a masterstroke. A blockbuster trade bringing in Phil Esposito, Ken Hodge, and Fred Stanfield from the Blackhawks. The result? Their wins skyrocketed from 17 to 37, and for the first time in a decade, playoff hockey was returning to Boston. The city erupted. Despite his limited appearances, Orr claimed the Norris Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman and made the All-Star team. But their playoff dreams shattered in a brutal sweep by the Montreal Canadiens. Still, the message was clear.
Did they have Gilles Flair?
The Bruins were no longer league punching bags. Then came 1968, and Orr unleashed something the NHL had never seen. He didn't just break records, he obliterated them. 21 goals, 43 assists, numbers that seemed impossible for a defenseman. The Bruins weren't just winning, they were terrorizing the league. Their first playoff victory against the mighty Maple Leafs came at a devastating price. In Game 1, Pat Quinn delivered a bone-crushing hit that left Orr unconscious on the ice. The crowd fell silent.
Oh
Hockey's
my God. Oh, it gets real in hockey. Oh, it gets real. Oh, it gets real in hockey. He knocked them out cold.
Leafs came at a devastating price.
How you gonna know
In
the
Game
defensive
1,
player of the year?
Pat Quinn delivered a bone-crushing hit
God.
that left Orr unconscious on the ice. The crowd fell silent. Hockey's new king was down. But like any great story of redemption, Orr returned, leading the Bruins to victory. Yet the Montreal Canadiens, like an unbeatable final boss, ended their run once again. But this time, something was different. The Bruins weren't just losing, they were learning. And what came next would shock the hockey world. 1970.
The Montreal Canadiens, bro, they wasn't losing never, bro. They
The year
was
hockey
like,
changed forever. After years of building, Bobby Orr wasn't just breaking records, he was shattering them. 33 goals, 87 assists, 120 points. Numbers that made veterans' heads spin.
And he a
But
defensive
what
player,
happened
by the way.
next would become the stuff of legend.
Defensive player.
Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Overtime, Bruins versus Blues.
hold on, I got a question though. In hockey, when you playing defense, like what do the stats look like? Like what is the categories? Is it how do you get blocks in hockey or like steal? I know how you get steals, but blocks, like if somebody shoot it and you block it, that a block? Like I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying?
That made veterans' heads
Let me
spin.
know.
But what happened next would become the stuff of legend. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Overtime, Bruins versus Blues. The moment. Orr launches himself through the air, arms raised in triumph as the puck hits the net. The Boston Garden erupts. The Bruins' 29-year championship drought over. That Superman-like leap, now immortalized in bronze outside TD Garden.
Yo, when I seen
became
it, I
more
was
than a
like,
goal.
what?
It became hockey's Mona Lisa. But Orr wasn't done rewriting the record books. The following season, he orchestrated something unprecedented. 37 goals, 102 assists, 139 points. His plus-minus of plus 124, it still stands untouchable today, like a mountain no one can climb.
Oh, he got the best plus-minus of all time? Best plus-minus of all time? This is a defenseman doing this, bro.
Season, he orchestrated something unprecedented. 37
tough.
goals, 102 assists, 139 points. His plus-minus of plus 124, it still stands untouchable
Plus
today,
124
like a mountain no one
is
can climb. Alongside him, Phil Esposito unleashed his own assault on the record books. 76 goals, 76 assists. A symmetrical masterpiece of 152 points. Yet, even with their 57-14 record, an old nemesis lurked. The Montreal Canadiens, hockey's dynasty, the team that had dominated 3 decades, struck again, crushing Boston's dreams in the first round. The Habs weren't just winning. They were haunting the Bruins every step
I swear to
toward
God,
greatness.
boy.
Then came the contract that changed everything. $200,000 per season for 5 years. $1 million total. A number that made headlines across North America. Bobby Orr, the kid from Perry Sound, had become hockey's first $1 million man. The pressure of that contract would have crushed
that boy came to, bro. That boy had a meal back in those days. Ooh wee. Oh, they loved him to death. He was the
those
first
players.
He was
But
the first
Orr,
golden
he
child.
responded with 37 goals and 117 points,
Stop playing me.
leading the big bad Bruins with a swagger that terrified opponents. When the playoffs arrived, fate finally smiled on Boston. Their tormentors, the Canadiens, fell to the Rangers in round 1.
Woo!
The door was open. The Bruins didn't just walk through that door, they kicked it down. 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years. The dynasty was taking shape. But behind the celebrations and trophy parades, a question lingered. How long could Bobby Orr's brilliance outrace his failing knees? Being named MVP twice wasn't just another accolade
MVP
for
twice?
Bobby Orr.
See, he ain't said it. MVP twice? MVP twice? Defensive Player of the Years? What we talking about? One of the GOATs?
It was history in motion.
Bobby
Only
Orr.
5 other players would ever match this feat. Legends like Gretzky, Lemieux, Crosby, Roy, and Parent. But as Orr reached hockey's mountain,
a goalie be winning MVPs too like that? Lemieux was tough too. I watched Lemieux. If y'all ain't watched that video, I watched Lemieux. I watched Gretzky.
on top,
Them boys
his
was
knees were plotting their betrayal. The 1973 season told 2 stories. On paper, Orr was still supernatural. Another 100-plus point season that defied logic. But behind the scenes, his knee was deteriorating. The Bruins felt it too, spiraling into a slump that cost their coach his job. When the playoffs arrived, the Rangers didn't just beat Boston. They shut down the unstoppable Orr, holding him to 2 measly points in a 5-game elimination.
Damn.
But greatness doesn't fade quietly. In 73 to 74, Orr unleashed another statistical masterpiece. 32 goals, 90 assists, and an eye-popping plus 84. Alongside captain Johnny Busick, he dragged the Bruins to the Stanley Cup Finals. The showdown against the Flyers became instant legend, a battle that came down to the final heartbreaking seconds, with Philadelphia emerging victorious. 1974 to 75 would be Orr's last full season in black and gold, and what a farewell symphony it was. He shattered his own defensive scoring record with 46 goals and 89 assists. But even these superhuman numbers couldn't prevent the Blackhawks from ending their playoff run in a nail-biting best-of-3 series. Then came the cruel twist. At just 27, when most players hit their prime, Orr's knees were failing. The same explosive power that made him revolutionary was destroying his body. The Bruins, seeing their superstar struggle to walk some nights, hesitated. His agent, Eagleson, painted them as villains. What happened next revealed the man behind the legend. Chicago offered an unprecedented deal, $3 million over 30 years. But Orr, knowing his body was betraying him, made a decision that defined his character. He refused to accept money he felt he couldn't earn. In an era of growing sports greed, Orr chose integrity over wealth. The greatest defenseman in history had played his last meaningful game at an age when most players are just hitting their stride. His knees, the very tools that helped him revolutionize hockey, had finally exacted their price. But while injuries could end his career,
bro, they were trying to give him $30 million. I mean, 30 years, $3 million, bro. I mean,
they couldn't touch his legacy. Bobby Orr had changed hockey forever. The final chapter of Bobby Orr's career reads like a Greek tragedy. The man who revolutionized hockey managed just 26 games with Chicago over 2 seasons before his knees forced him to hang up his skates. The same explosive style that made him legendary had ultimately destroyed his body. Only after double knee replacements years later could he finally walk without pain. But numbers tell the true story of Orr's impact. 9 hat tricks as a defenseman, a record that stands untouchable. For perspective, Harry Cameron from the 1920s managed 6, while modern legends Paul Coffey and Dennis Potvin peaked at 5 each. And remember, Orr did this in just 657 games. He wasn't just playing hockey, he was reinventing it. His combination of blazing speed and uncanny skill transformed the defenseman position from a stay-at-home role into an offensive weapon. While his career ended too soon at age 30, his impact on hockey was eternal. Some stars fade away. Bobby Orr's light was snuffed out at its brightest. the numbers tell an impossible story. Bobby Orr's plus 582 rating ranks second all time, trailing only
who?
Larry Robinson's plus 722. But
Who the hell
here's
is
the kicker.
Larry Robinson? He must have been God.
While Robinson, Gretzky, Bork, and Clark each played over 1,100 games to reach their plus 500 ratings, Orr did it in just 657 games. Do the math, and no one comes close to his game-by-game dominance. Was Bobby Orr really that good?
I ain't
He
gonna
wasn't
lie.
just good. He was
They paid 400 more games than him, and he's still. That's crazy. Nah, that's crazy.
untouchable.
Nah, that's
In an
crazy.
era of legends, he stood alone, revolutionizing hockey before his 30th birthday. His shortened career doesn't diminish his legacy. It amplifies it. Imagine what the record books would say if those knees had held up. That's the incredible story of Bobby Orr.
I ain't gonna lie, Bobby Orr, bro. If them knees might have held up, he might have been greater than Gretzky. Nah, I ain't saying he better than that. I ain't gonna say that because I ain't gonna say that. Let me know in the comments where y'all got Bobby Orr ranked, bro. Is he one of the GOATs? Is he the GOAT? Like, where y'all got him ranked, bro? I'm learning, bro. But I ain't know his knees was, oh my God. They're like, bro, I got way more respect for y'all, bro. I swear to God, bro. I ain't know it was going down like this. I ain't gonna lie. Look, man, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all already know what's going on, man. More hockey coming. Let me know in the comments what type of videos I want to see, who y'all want me to react to. And let me see y'all next one, man. No